Giggles podcast.
Your headphones are not better than mine.
I mean, they're Monster Energy headphones. Enough said.
Yeah, exactly. They're useless.
No, they are the best. Sponsored by...
Not Monster Energy.
So good and tasty.
No. Oh, no. All right. Sorry, guys. Thank you for being here. We've started recording. Today's episode is one that I think will be great to apply to everyone because it will help you get to your goals. We're going to be talking about the pain cave, something that can be scary. Some people act tough, like they can go into the pain cave all the time, and then they go to comps and they're not in the pain cave, and so you know that they're just all talk, and that has sometimes
lies.
been both of us. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about like ways to get in the headspace of getting into the pain cave. We'll do that a little bit. We might talk about that more in another episode. The main thing is hopefully we can give you guys some tools that you can use to actually like get into the pain cave. So it's more tangible, I guess more logical to let you handle the emotions that you're going to experience when you are deep in the pain cave.
Kind of like by default getting into the pain cave by accident, by implementing these tools.
Yes. Do this so you can hate yourself.
But then love the results.
All right, good. KPow had some good tools, so
We'll get straight into it, and I think that this kind of applies for. It can be a broad range of people that this would apply to. So you can, like, I've definitely found throughout training throughout the year, and depending on the season and depending on where you're at, you can find that you're going through the motions, you're hitting your training sessions, you're training consistently, you're hitting good numbers, but you're just not, you know that there's a little bit left in the tank. You could have pushed a little bit harder in a workout, or you're not quite getting the time that you wanted, or like you're not quite satisfied with the results. And that comes down to you just not entering the pain cave throughout a workout. I will say that a disclaimer is there's a fine line between entering the pain cave and pushing yourself too far on a consistent basis where you're going to end up getting detrimental results if you're essentially competing every time you're training, because training is training. You should be trying to focus on a certain thing within that training session, which we're not going to get into today. But the getting into the pain cave doesn't necessarily have to be this massive mental barrier that you have to push through. One of the easiest things that I found was just using the clock. So most of us either use AMRAPs or EMOMs or intervals, or there's very similar sort of time frames and structures that we use within CrossFit. So utilizing the clock is going to be the biggest or the easiest way for you to get yourself into the pain cave. All you need to do is it's you versus the clock. Whatever you're doing, if it's an AMRAP, for example, say 10-minute AMRAP. I've talked about this in one of our other episodes about doing a practice round first, just to give you an idea of your pacing. Doing that practice round gives you, for example, it's a 10-minute AMRAP, you do your practice round, whatever the workout is, and it takes you 90 seconds to get that first round done. That now gives you a number to work towards that you should be aiming for amount of rounds in that 10 minutes. So that's 7 rounds, just under, 6 rounds and a minute. Is that right? Quick maths?
We'll go with that.
Yeah, it is. It's 6 rounds, 6 rounds in a minute to spare. So then your goal should be around 7 rounds. And then you can also check in on yourself halfway through your workout and go, well, round 1 should have been 1:30, 3 minutes, 4.5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7.5 minutes, 9 minutes. So just by default, and the more you do this, the easier the maths gets throughout your training session as well. So when you're staring at the clock, you're not sitting there going, I'm going to carry the 2, 5, the 6. You can kind of look at the clock and go, I'm 10 seconds behind. Just the more that you do this, the easier it gets. But it gives you something to focus on, not necessarily the movements and how much it's hurting. So you just check it in with the clock each time and go, all right, I need to be 10 seconds faster on this next set, on this next round or whatever it is. But just a little application of utilizing the clock makes a massive difference on how hard you end up pushing throughout your session.
And this is actually way more prevalent in basically every, like I guess, racing sport. So you've got cycling, you've got running, you've got swimming, triathlons. What else? Probably horse racing. Every sport or every athlete. Car racing, I guess that's not really a sport, but it's more of a hobby that goes
Don't
fast.
want to offend too many people.
Ooh, I purposely said that hoping a few certain people are listening. But they work off split times. And so what KPow just explained was setting your own split times and then holding to those split times. When I was cycling, we used to do that. We used to hold anywhere from like a 15 to an 18 second, depending on the gear and the distance and everything like that we were using or performing per lap on the velodrome. And so if we held that, we could almost emotionally switch off and become robotic and just hit those split times. And each time. And then usually the start of it feels okay. And then towards the end, you're like, I don't know if I can do this. And then boom, you're in the pain cave and you're like, well, I've been holding it already. Now let's see if I can keep holding this. Yeah. And you've got your times to follow, and you're just training like most athletes do.
And then it's like, which it should essentially be, it's you versus you, which is how it always should be until you get to the like top tiers and you're versing Tia and she just wants to beat everybody. But it is like you're trying to be a better version of yourself from where you were 6 months ago, where you were a year ago, and using the split times is the easiest way to keep yourself accountable throughout your workout. So if you're losing 10 seconds each time between transitioning from the pull-up bar over to your burpee box jump overs or whatever it is, your 10-second transition makes a massive difference in a 90-second round. And if you can...
Huge.
Yeah, if you're getting tired and fatigue sets in... actually, quick tangent. I had somebody say this to me years ago.
Tangent one.
I was trying to explain to them the pacing the workout, and I was like, slow down a little bit, and I got to the last 3 minutes. I was like, right, you got to pick it up now. Like, we're getting close to the end. You got to push it. And then he turned around really aggressive. Oh, that's not how fatigue works, dickhead. I was like, that's not how fatigue works. That's how pacing works.
As soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna want to know who this was.
I don't even think you know them, to be honest.
Damn it.
But yeah, it was funny because that's not how you should be approaching your workout. You shouldn't be allocating time for fatigue. If you are, then you're not pacing it correctly. You should be allocating where your pacing is. So like Jono said, like your first few rounds are always going to feel the best because you're fresh. So doing a little practice round, depending on the workout. If it's like a 5-minute round, maybe not a practice round, but
maybe some practice movements.
Yeah. But like doing that practice round or that's where pacing comes into it a little bit more, I guess.
I think another thing that you can use as well, and this is a big thing for people that don't track their workouts, or they might, like, for example, on baseline, you're on Sugar WOD, correct? Sugar WOD. And so you write it all there, and your athletes can actually record their results, and you can record your notes and everything like that. So when I'm putting my stuff into my training journal, I have it that this is my time I got, these are my split times if I have the opportunity to record them within the workout. What was my rep scheme that I broke it up with? And then let's say, I can go back to, I think 2018 is when I first started doing the journal stuff, just on Word docs. I can go back and be like, cool, well, there was a 30 toaster bar in this workout, and now I did it in a 10, 8, 7, 5 or whatever that is. And so now if I know if I can go unbroken on this, I'm already getting better, and it's probably going to put me in too much of a pain cave, but I'm seeing myself improve in my output within the workout. So if you know where you were and you want to compete against yourself, put yourself into that pain cave and stretch a little bit more from where you've been.
Yeah. I think another aspect of getting into the pain cave is a confidence in your ability as well. So a lot of people will look at 30 toes bar, for example, and be like, I can't do 30 toes bar. I'm like, yeah, but you can do 10 sets of 3, can't you?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the big number, it's what you're doing in that workout. So ability is always at the top of whenever you're strategizing a workout. So we're kind of getting into strategy now, but ability is always at the top. If you're not able to do 30 unbroken, then your strategy is going to look entirely different to somebody that can do 30 unbroken. But
Yeah.
so to get into the pain cave in a workout like that, for you, doing 30 unbroken is going to get your heart rate up. It's going to spike you. Like, you're going to feel more fatigued doing your 30 unbroken as opposed to doing 10, 10, 10 with a strategic break. But for somebody else, doing 10, 10, 10 with a break is going to spike their heart rate, and they're going to feel like they're in the pain cave. So for like someone that's not too confident in their ability, I would recommend small sets, less than what you want to. So let's say you can get 15 unbroken.
Everyone has stopped listening to you already now.
Don't do 15
but they should.
unbroken.
They should be listening.
Yeah. Put your ego to the side.
Yep.
Do less than what you want to, but then minimize your rest. So if you can do 15 unbroken, do 5. And then before you want to, or before you think you're ready, get back up and do your next set of 5. And then your next set of 5. And the time that it took you between your first set and your second set, that's where you have to keep yourself accountable to hold that pace. Because your rep cycle rate's not going to change too much. But that rest in between is what's going to change. So the more disciplined you can be with your rest breaks, the more into the pain cave you're going to get yourself, and the better your results you're going to get as well.
Yeah, so, I think that also leads into, sorry if I'm moving on with it. Not sorry, never. No, so this also leads on to something. I was having a conversation with one of my mates, and he was like, hey, how can I hurt a little bit more in workouts? And he's going to know if he's listening. I'm not going to say his name though, but he was like, oh, how can I push more? And I was like, dude, you rest so long within the workout. And not afterwards, not beforehand, but I'm like, you do like some set, whether it's a big or small set, and then you're like, I need a minute. I need 3 minutes. 7 minutes later.
Chalking up the hands.
Yeah, chalking up, chatting to, if they're doing a partner workout, be like, all right, we're going to do this strategy. Shut up with the communication and just get to work. You should have discussed this beforehand.
While you're working.
Yeah. Like when you fall off the bar, oh, okay, now we're done.
Yeah.
So I was just chatting to him, and I was like, I think it was Jason Kalipa. He used to actually set himself a goal that he would rest no more than like 8 to 12 seconds before, like, depending on the workout. Obviously, Jason just decided to stop resting altogether towards the end of his career. But I thought that was a really cool strategy, because I was like, all right, whatever set I do, it has to be 8 to 12 seconds maximum rest.
Yep.
And then that way it's going to force me to probably get up earlier than I want to. It will help me to like strategize or like pace at the start better, but it's going to put me in a really uncomfortable situation later down the track with this workout. And so you guys again can use that clock and like count your rest.
Yep. Drop down from your toaster bar, look at the clock, and count yourself in 8 seconds.
And be committed to that. Don't be like, 8 seconds? All right.
Oh, this is getting hard now.
Yeah, it's like hands on the bar. Yeah. Oh,
15
looks
seconds.
like you want to lose.
Yeah. But it's like those kind of things go hand in hand with pacing as well, because as you do that, you learn, I can hold on to sets of 5 with a 6-second rest in between in the middle of a Metcon. So then next time you can either use that strategy or slightly adjust that strategy. I'm going to go every 4 seconds or with a 4-second rest, and you can kind of play around with things. Whereas if you go in blind and you have no idea and you don't pay any attention, next time you're going to go in blind, you're not going to pay any attention, and you're not going to have any idea. So you're going to end up in the same spot. But just using the clock to your advantage, just being a little bit more strategic with what you're doing as well, can definitely play bigly. That's a word.
It is now.
Play massively in your
All right. So now I'm just going to go to this. The obvious one is that if you want to get in the pain cave and you struggle to do it, whenever there is an assault bike, you sprint. If it's 20 cal or less, it must be done within 59 seconds.
Yeah.
You set yourself a goal. That's just it could be a play. It could be 25 or 30 cals, depending who you are. But if you have like a it's easy. Specifically, unless it's
unless
a
you've got to
frantic.
do stuff afterwards.
Or beforehand. Yeah. But specifically, now I'm doing the maths. I think it was 30 cal in the minute at frantic. It was the last 20 cal that happened in 7 minutes. But yeah, so cardio movements, you got rowing, you got assault bike, you got bike erg, running, even burpees I would count as a cardio movement. You can put the pace on there because there's nothing limiting you except for your heart rate and your headspace. So you can like put the hammer down, get right into that pain cave, whether it's from the start or not, and then you can just deal with the after effects afterwards and just deal with it. Get emotional about it and keep pushing. Doesn't matter. But I find that's a really helpful way to find out, okay, if I can send this 20 cal assault bike, can I go and pick up the barbell and get straight into my clean and jerks or my snatches or deadlifts or thrusters or whatever? And I know I'm going to be in the pain cave, but I want to find out. And then you can be like, cool, I'm in the pain cave. I'm here. Let's keep moving. Let's hold on and just enjoy, this. I wouldn't recommend it every day.
No.
Not a great move.
You're going to start hating CrossFit.
Yeah, and yourself.
Yeah. But, like, that's the thing. Is like, it's supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Like, we're supposed to be going to the gym and challenging ourselves. And doing that is exactly, like, how you can challenge yourself. Like, push harder than what you want to. And I learnt this one from good old Ryan Woodall at Injustice. I remember he told me... he goes pretty good. He was at the games this year. I mean, I didn't really get to watch any of it because of the fucking shitty coverage from the games, but let's not go there.
Nope.
But yeah, he told me, I can't remember word for word exactly what it was, but it was along the lines of, you can get a lot of work done under a high level of fatigue. You would be extremely surprised at how much work you can get done when you feel like you're done. So... like, that's where sending it on the first bike, or if you've got a workout that has a run cash in, sprint your 400 and then just see how long you can hold on. But then, like, hold yourself accountable. Be like, no, I can do this. I can hold on to the bar. I can do 20 reps of the wall balls unbroken. I can, like, or even if you don't, like, tell yourself you can. Fake it till you make it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
But it's that little bit of a mental switch to say... like, no, I can do this, or no, I'm going to do this, and then just fuck around and find out.
Exactly. I actually, I don't know if I brought this up in another podcast, if I've spoken to you about it, but when I trained with in the wearables, I'm pretty sure. I should do it a little bit more now, train with a heart rate monitor. And so we did this workout. It's just more memorable because it's the one that I decided to try this and it worked, and so I've done it most times ever since. Put my heart rate monitor on, got on the bike erg. It was like a 5-minute AMRAP of bike erg into max unbroken wall balls, and it wasn't a max like, you had to almost go to failure. So my goal, I was like, all right, by the 5-minute mark on the bike erg, I want my heart rate at 180 or more. So it was painful, and I was going to get up and see how many wall balls I could do with my heart rate at 180 or more. And I had a friend, Kalia, she was sitting there on the wall because she'd just done a workout, and so thankfully I could rope her in at the last second, and she just sat there and she just told me when my heart rate hit that, and then when where my heart rate was while doing wall balls. And it sucked. However, it sucked because I love a wall ball. It's so many more reps than I thought. So many more. I was like, this is crazy. And then it's also like, when you PR your workout, your lifts, and you're like, now my percentages go up. Yeah. Instantly, I was like, now I know how deep in the pain cave we can go. But you can use wearables to help you with that as well, because you can physically look at how you're tracking. It's not always accurate, considering you might be fighting with muscle fatigue rather than just like pain cave stuff with the aerobic capacity stuff. Yeah. But that is another tack that you can use.
That'd be a little bit more movement specific as well. So like if you're doing strict handstand push-ups, your heart rate's probably not going to get that high.
Unless you're like Jay Crouch or Helen Harding. Yeah. Helen Harding actually doesn't have shoes. She just wears gloves and walks around on her hands.
But yeah, so like that one's a little bit more movement dependent. But yeah, definitely using wearables. Like I remember telling you about the session that I did with on the bike, and it was the same thing. Like I got in and I was like, oh, my heart rate's that, it's that high. It doesn't feel that high. I'm going to, and then kept going, and then just kept it. And I was sitting at it was at 80 to 90%. I can't remember what the actual heart rate was, but my 80 to 90% is not 180 like yours. So like if I'm at I think it's about 156 or higher.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
have a quick look. But yeah, it's not,
Whoa.
that's the 80 to 90% range.
That's wild, guys. He's getting old. That's old. You got an old heart.
No, I have
It's lived a life.
good. My heart's just good.
Nope.
Yeah.
Also,
It
fun
doesn't
fact
need to get up to that high.
is that when you're a lady, often your heart rate tracks higher than male heart. I don't know if that's at resting, but within workouts as well. And I don't know the exact beats, but there you go. Fun fact for you.
Yeah. So 158 is that 80 to 90%. Like that's just breaking into the 80 to 90. So 80% is 158.
Oh, he's retracting a little bit, guys.
No, look.
Hey, calm down.
See?
I can't see.
One.
I'm just so focused on... Don't worry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So getting into the pain cave.
Yeah. So more so, I mean, I would love to go into like the reasons why you would want to go into the pain cave. This is something I was talking about before. We can go back into some tools as well afterwards as well. But this is going from one of my old coaches, and I was talking to him, and I was like, man, I'm struggling to get like really into the pain cave where I used to or where I know I need to be. And he was just like, your goals aren't high enough, and you just don't believe in yourself enough. And as harsh as that sounds, I was like, stuff you. And I was like, but you're right. Still stuff you. And it was because, like, let's just say my goal was to be at a body composition that I'm happy with. Well, I don't really need to go into the pain cave anymore because I'm happy with how I look. Now, if someone else is, you're not, well, then you need to go in the pain cave. However, you might go into the pain cave at the start, achieve your goal, and then that motivation or that emotional tie to that goal dies off because you've achieved it. So the higher your goals and the more that you believe you can actually achieve them is going to give you a reason to get into that. And it doesn't have to be for us like it's competing. Some people it's body composition. Some people it's just wearing a certain like clothing. I don't really care what your goal is. Sorry, Han. Again, under the bus. Han's whole motivation is so she'll go as hard as she can in a workout so she can eat as much as she can at night. And I don't care because that makes her happy. Whatever gets you better, like who's to judge?
Yeah.
Like we probably still will because we're human and we shouldn't. But like screw us, we don't care.
But that goes back to like what I was saying before. It's like it's essentially it's you versus you, right? Like
Exactly.
You're not versing anybody else in the gym. You're not there for anybody else. So like you've really got to take into account what you're there for and then what's going to get you to your goals faster or better.
Yeah.
So I know for me, like going to the pain cave, it's a reassurance thing for me because I hate it in the moment, but when I'm doing it consistently and I'm like leading up to the open and I'm just in the pain cave on a daily, weekly basis, I love training at that time. Like that's just such a, like I love that environment and I love doing that all the time. So like I feel like fulfilled from doing that on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it's kind of like, but it's because I'm chasing the goals, because I know that doing that is getting me towards where I'm trying to get to, which is through the open quarterfinals and touring and whatnot. So,
Exactly.
yeah, it goes back to what your coach was saying, that if your goals aren't big enough, then you're not going to put any effort towards them. And then what's the point in going to the pain cave? Because you don't need to, because your goals aren't that big. Whereas
Well, you might go into the pain cave a little bit, but probably not as deep as you actually can. And some people can just do it regardless of goals, and that's awesome. They've probably been there before because of goals. It's like when you get the old dudes that walk into the gym and they just rip out like a 200-kilo deadlift, and you're like, what the hell? It's because they've been there before. They've set the goals, they've done the work, and they're always going to have that within themselves. Or you get like professional rowers and they come in and just destroy the row erg, and you're like, okay, you clearly went to like an all-boys school where they did rowing.
Yeah.
Stuff you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I think the merit that comes with having big goals definitely is going to change the outcome of how your training is as well. So, like we were saying, if your goals aren't that smart, for those of you who have listened to that episode,
Go find it.
Outrageous enough, then like there's no need to be pushing hard. So I think it could tie back to maybe you just need to reset some goals for yourself.
Yeah.
And then light that fire, get a little bit more motivated again. Because, the motivation side of things, that's going to instill habits. And the more that you can make this a habit as opposed to relying on motivation all the time, then it's going to be a little bit more of a long-term sort of situation.
Yeah, agreed. And if you make those like outrageous goals and then you don't believe in yourself, maybe have that outrageous goal. And I know this is going into goal setting now, but you set those little goals that you know you can achieve and you just focus on the next one at hand. You just keep going. And if that requires you to go a bit deeper into the pain cave, use that. That's your emotional tie to get emotional in that workout.
Yeah.
Like push that little bit harder. And so that can be a tool. However, a tangible tool is still using the clock, still using your pacing, still using your sets and your reps and your rests and all that kind of stuff. So don't forget about that, because what we've just explained is like a why, but how to do that, the method to do that is what we started with in this episode.
Something that I'll quickly add on is if I'm leading into a comp, like a local comp, so if you're doing Chasing Better or the Battle of Iron Body or
Nice.
leading into like Torian or something, during a session, I'll be telling myself that, the guy next to me wouldn't be putting the bar down. Like the guy next to me, he's done those 5 extra reps, he held on to the bar, or he's moving on to the next movement already. He's not chalking his hands for 10 seconds for like each transition. Like, so you kind of putting the competitor that you're trying to beat in the comp that you're going to do, the guy that you're trying to beat, just mentally put him next to you in your workout and say, well, I want to transition quicker and I want to cycle the barbell a little bit faster. And it's like, just to give you something to chase in that session as well.
Yeah. You can actually do I do that all the time, especially if you're training by yourself. A good thing is having training partners. So, if you've got, drop another name. JC used to do this. He'd get the strongest dude in his gym. He'd be like, come do squats with me. He'd get the best runner. He'd be like, let's go for a run. And you get people that will force you to elevate yourself and put you into that pain cave only because they're specialists in what they do.
Yeah.
And at one point, you'll be that specialist for them. So it's not just like you're always trying to get them to give you something. If you're more well-rounded, you're going to be putting them in the pain cave in a classic CrossFit workout. So you guys will all benefit from each other doing that.
100%.
It's good. And you can put your enemy next to you in your imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless your
enemy is there. Oh, hey.
No, he's here. No.
Damn it.
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered enough. That was good. Good.
That was nice. Good. Use those tools, guys. Please let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, hit us up if you've got any other tools or tips or tricks because we've got more. We just can't remember them all.
Or we'll end up just tangenting.
Yeah, getting sidetracked. But hit us up on social media, whether that's Instagram or on the podcast. Where do we?
Spotify. And YouTube.
Spotify and YouTube. Hit us up with any questions that you've got, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah. Thank you again, guys.
Peace.